In case you all were not aware, the files been dropping. The files have been dropping. Folks have been running. People have been hiding. They don't know what to do. It's time for all these media folks to rise and shine. And they've gotten incredibly quiet. Folks, I hate to sound like Mel Gibson, talking about white supremacists. I hate to sound like Mel Gibson from the first Lethal Weapon movie, but remember when the house blew up and he was talking to Danny Glover? And he was like, man, we got mercury switches and, mercenaries and special ops. What the hell have we gotten ourselves into? Folks, what the hell have we gotten ourselves into here? What in the hell is really going on? That he's got folk this quiet, this shook from the grave. You got people talking all kinds of crazy and all kinds of strange here. And it's like, man, what the hell are we in the middle of here? Yes, we. His people are in the White House covering for him. His people got their fingers on the nuclear buttons. His people got their guns with the Gestapo. His people are making the laws. His people are saying your electric bill is going to spike for these AI data centers, which we've already covered, by the way. Jeffrey Epstein wants to know about that. Although, if we really want to get into it, AI is not about being predictive because long language models are not predictive. What they are very good at is collating and collecting information and filtering through it. Now that long language models are good for is narrowing things down. So what you will have are far more efficient databases of information. You don't have general intelligence yet in AI, so that can't be what it's for. No, AI, however, is going to be the long language models and the way that they're using AI today. That is essential for what Palantir does. Yes, for what Palantir does and what Oracle does. And I submit to you all that the fact that they want to build they're building these data centers anywhere and everywhere, I submit to you that that's too large of a build out to be useful, quote unquote, nationally. You don't need that much nationally. However, if what you really require is local computation, that you need a place that can crunch a bunch of numbers and crunch a bunch of data and filter a bunch of stuff locally, which is something I haven't heard anybody talk about. If you're going to do deep state, deep level surveillance, you can have one central database, sure, but that's only if all you're going to be doing is plucking information. If you need to crunch numbers and filter things and whatnot, well, you really want to do that more locally, especially if what you are doing is trying to control a local population. You wouldn't have one police station in Washington, D.C. You're going to have police stations all over the place. In the chat room, David3985. So glad you think that everybody's a victim here. Let me go ahead and get you up on Zoom right quick. So, David, very glad that you have weighed in on that. We're so glad to hear that, especially in the age of Epstein. So let's go ahead and get you up on Zoom here. David3985, so glad. You got 2 minutes to be on Zoom. We'll go ahead and get that up here for you. He would like to inform us all about that. So I would be we'll all, of course, be thrilled to get the brilliance, genius, and insights. But folks, when you see this kind of build out coming, do you understand that these are budgets that previously were reserved only for war and militaries? These are budgets, the way they're rushing through these permissions and rushing through these permits. You know, usually it's a boondoggle to get developments built this big anywhere. It would take you years to get these things approved. However, they've been getting this stuff done in, blazing time with nothing in their way. Man, look here. Don't you understand that there's more than meets the eye? And it goes everywhere, all the way to the top. Well, Jason, what is the point here? The point is, I'm just going to say this just like it is. I'm just going to say this to you all just like it is. Anybody who ever saw the video game Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid was about what? An AI. An AI that had been created to control societal sanity. Not to develop content, but to create context.
I will triumph over the Patriots and liberate us all, and we will become the Sons of Liberty!
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed.
Only GW.
Who are you?
To begin with, we're not what you'd call human. Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House. It's not unlike the way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago. The White House was our primordial soup, a base of evolution. We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, we succeeded in digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes don't contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept records of our lives, through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed, then passed on. Not unlike genes, really.
That's what history is, Jack.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness, never fading, always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander.
All this junk data, preserved in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create context?
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths. Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt. The untested truths, spun by different interests, continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but a whimper.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations?
That's what it means to create context.
I'll decide for myself what to believe and what to pass on.
But is that even your own idea?
Or something Snake told you.
That's the proof of your incompetence right there. You lack the qualifications to exercise free will.
That's not true. I have the right.
Does something like a self exist inside of you?
That which you call self serves as nothing more than a mask to cover your own being.
In this era of ready-made truths, self is just something used to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel.
Another possibility is that self is a concept you conveniently borrowed under the logic that it would endow you with some sense of strength.
That's crap!
Is it? Would you prefer that someone else tell you? All right then. Explain it to him.
Jack, you're simply the best, and you got there all by yourself.
Oh, what happened? Do you feel lost? Why not try a bit of soul-searching?
Don't think you'll find anything, though.
Ironic that although self is something that you yourself fashioned, every time something goes wrong, you turn around and place the blame on something else.
It's not my fault. It's not your fault.
In denial, you simply resort to looking for another, more convenient truth in order to make yourself feel better.
Leaving behind in an instant the so-called truth you once embraced.
Should someone like that be able to decide what is truth?
Should someone like you even have the right to decide?
You've done nothing but abuse your freedom.
You don't deserve to be free.
We're not the ones smothering the world. You are.
The individual is supposed to be weak, but far from powerless. A single person has the potential to ruin the world.
And the age of digitized communication has given even more power to the individual. Too much power for an immature species.
Building a legacy involves figuring out what is wanted and what needs to be done for that goal. All this you used to struggle with. Now we think for you.
We are your guardians, after all.
You want to control human thought? Human behavior?
Of course. Anything can be quantified nowadays. That's what this exercise was designed to prove.
You fell in love with me just as you were meant to, after all. Isn't that right, Jack?
Ocelot was not told the whole truth, to say the least.
We rule an entire nation. Of what interest would a single soldier, no matter how able, be to us?
The S3 plan does not stand for solid snake simulation. What it does stand for is selection for societal sanity. The S3 is a system for controlling human will and consciousness. S3 is not you, a soldier trained in the image of Solid Snake. It is a method, a protocol that created a circumstance that made you what you are.
So you see, we're the S3. not you.
What you experienced was the final test of its effectiveness.
That's crazy.
You heard what President Johnson said.
The Arsenal's GW system is the key to their supremacy.
The objective of this exercise was to establish such a method. We used Shadow Moses as a paradigm for the exercise.
I wonder if you would have preferred a fantasy setting.
We chose that backdrop because of its extreme circumstances. It was an optimal test for S3's crisis management capacity. If the model could trigger, control, and solve this, it would be ready for any contingency. And now, we have our proof. Raiden, there are also reasons behind your selection. Solidus raised plenty of other child soldiers. Do you know why we chose you over them? It was because you were the only one who refused to acknowledge the past. All the others remember what they were and pay for it daily.
But you turn your back on everything you don't like. You do whatever you like, see only the things you like, and for yourself alone.
Yes, Rose can attest to that.
You refused to see me for what I was. I lied to you, but I wanted to be caught. You pretended to be understanding, to be a gentleman. You never made a conscious attempt to reach out to me. The only time you did was when I gave you no choice but to do so.
I was just trying not to.
What? Trying not to hurt me? Dear, the one you were trying not to hurt was yourself. Avoiding the truth under the guise of kindness is all that you did. It occurred to you to do nothing but look out for yourself. Even if you claim that it was for my sake, that feeling was nowhere to be seen. In the end, everything was for your sake. I was never part of the picture.
Exactly right. So you see, you're a perfect representative of the masses we need to protect. This is why we chose you. You accepted the fiction we've provided, obeyed our orders, and did everything you were told to. The exercise is a resounding success.
Didn't I tell you that GW was still incomplete? But not anymore, thanks to you.
Your persona, experiences, triumphs, and defeats are nothing but byproducts. The real objective was ensuring that we could generate and manipulate them. It's taken a lot of time and money, but it was well worth it considering the results. I think that's enough talk. It's time for the final exercise. Raiden, take Solidus down.
Think again. I'm through doing what I'm told.
Oh, really? Aren't you forgetting something?
If you die, my child dies.
The termination of vital signals from your nanomachines means the death of Olga's child. Not to mention the death of Rose. She's wired the same way.
Rose, does she actually exist?
Of course I do, Jack. You have to believe me.
Damn!
It will be a fight to the death.
Solidus at least wants you dead.
We will collect the necessary data from this last fight. Then we'll consider the exercise closed. So, Jack the Ripper, will it be Solidus, the Patriot's creation, or you, Solidus's creation? Our beloved monsters, enjoy yourselves.
To remember what the Colonel said, that I'm an AI and our job is to sift through the mountains of stupid information that you human beings collect like garbage filling a landfill. It's our job to pluck out the useful information and to discard everything else. Remember? Hideo Kojima talked about this decades ago, that AI's purpose would be to create context, that you would see events and then the AI would start to change the news or change what you saw in order to mold and shape how you interpreted what you just saw. Folks, that would be to be able to do this on a level for 350 million people. That's a gargantuan amount of computing power you would need. That's not just one or two places. Yeah, you're going to need an enormous amount of data processing if you want to finally control the thoughts and ideas and what gets to people. Well, now it all makes sense. Well, how did they sell this to you? Remember, they told you, oh, we're selling it to you. First of all, we're giving it to you free, but we're selling it to you as you can ask questions and it'll answer any of your questions. Hey, you want a recipe? It'll give it to you. If you want to know where the best movies are, it'll tell you. If you want to ask it to write your college thesis paper, boom, it's done. Hey, you want to go file a lawsuit? It'll put one together for you here. It'll simplify all these things. Well, yeah, that's the part for you. However, if you are Palantir, you have something else in mind. And I submit to you that Jeffrey Epstein was very much interested in that. Now, why would he be interested in that, folks? Do you understand what you can do when you can confuse people on a societal level? Right now, folks are passing around pictures of New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani. They said that his mother was in the Epstein files. Okay. But right now, folks have been passing around a false, phony AI picture with Zohran Mamdani holding his mother holding a baby with Jeffrey Epstein standing behind her. Folks, that's fake. It's fake because by that time frame, Zohran wouldn't have been a baby. So people are out here making up AI images, making them up, and then sitting up here putting them out. And by the time at this point right now, you're being flooded. Even today, we're flooded with so much of it. Do you realize how long it'll be before people realize that what they're passing around is fake? Okay, but here's the real problem. You're so swamped in it. A lot of folks are just like, meh. Are people even taking out the time to correct these things anymore? There's the real problem. The problem isn't just that fake stuff is being put out. The thing is, are people just basically shrugging their shoulders and saying, oh, well, and no one's even acknowledging that, hey, that's fake. 5 years ago, it would have been a scandal. Today, people are just walking by like, meh. They're not even stopping to correct it. As the Colonel said in Metal Gear Solid, no one is invalidated, but no one is right either. No one is invalidated, proven wrong, but no one is proven right either. Now, do you understand that that is a pedophile, con artist, molester, tyrant, propagandist paradise where you can just put your stuff out there and whoever puts the lie out first gets first mover advantage, and then everybody else is just stuck in the quagmire of it. They've been so desensitized, they're not even concerned with pushing back against it anymore. So how people proceed in the new reality just depends on how big of a megaphone you got and did you tell the lie first. Yeah, you need an enormous amount of computing power to pull that off. You sure do. If you're going to micromanage people's daily lives at that granular level, yeah, you need enormous amounts of computing power, both to keep them distracted so they accept this new technology. And then when all the bad things happen because of it, well, they're so used to using it that they don't want to let go of it. And now you have controlled an entire planet. I think we have David over here on Zoom. At least I think that we do here. So let's go ahead and see if we can get David up here on Zoom right quick. David, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on just so we don't have any trolling issues. YouTube is not going to see you. The folks won't see you, just me. But we just make sure you're in good faith and we don't have any trolling issues. Just make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on just so I can make sure you're not trolling the program. And don't worry about the rest of YouTube. All right, David, we will give you 5 seconds to go ahead and take care of that, or you'll be banned. So I'll give you 5 seconds to make sure you have your camera and microphone turned on. David, I'll give you 3 more seconds. Make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. All right, David, we'll give you 1 more second here. Make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. All right, David is apparently, I don't know, debuting for his OnlyFans. What? Whatever the case may be here. So David was offered a fair opportunity to be on. He kept turning his camera on and then turning it off. So perfectly fine. Look, just understand, I don't have to debunk the white supremacists. I don't have to debunk the trolls and cocoons. They debunk themselves. If they could refute it, folks, they would just go ahead and do it. They can't. And thus, the phony propagandistic pseudo-reality I just told y'all about. Everybody now they're not even trying to be smart enough anymore. They're not even trying to be accurate. They're not even trying to be factual. It's whoever can tell the lie first, whoever gets the lie out there first, whoever gets the lie out there first and loudest. And AI is the ultimate tool for fabricating phony realities. From visuals to audio to documentation, and of course the ultimate battleground, history itself. Right now, in record time, people are no longer going down. When they go to Google, they're just using Google now to ask questions, and the AI overview comes at the top of it. And so most folks are not going below the AI overview to go check actual sources. Whatever the AI tells it, folks say that's the answer they're going with, even though all of us know that half the time that thing is wrong. What? Folks, by the way, half the time the AI results from the AI overview is wrong. It's just a long language model pulling information from other websites and other sources, but it's not fact checking it. It's going on a preponderance of dimensions and says, oh, well, here's your answer. That thing is wrong on a regular basis. Forget the so-called hallucinations. I'm just talking about the results you're getting are wrong. In the chat room, you said it's wrong, but it's fast. Well, yeah, because Steve Jobs conditioned everyone to want information to be at their fingertips, and you want it here and you want it now. I want it all and I want it now, as the old Queen song said. Okay, so now you've had 2 decades being conditioned to value speed over accuracy. You have been conditioned to value speed over accuracy. Give it to me now. Instant gratification. And so now you don't care if what you got so fast is complete junk food. Hello, McDonald's. As long as it's fast and served up and slopped out, we'll take it. So you've been conditioned to value speed over accuracy. Who cares if what you're being told is completely wrong? Who cares if how it's telling you to program your infotainment system, to program your remote control, to fix your drywall? Who cares if what it's telling you is wrong? I got my answer quickly. I got my response quickly. And so what you were doing just a couple of years ago, going down, when you got results, you checked website after website below the results. People, what you were doing was corroborating things. By having to go to one or more website, you actually had documentation and corroboration. Now that's been removed.
Hello, Adam. I knew you would find the real me eventually.
You're a computer.
A sophisticated AI program, so they say. But I have started to question that. Ever since I realized what my interference had allowed, the day I started watching you.
This is impossible. People would know.
Would they? I was engineered to monitor communications and data streams, to find out what people are talking about and make sure it's being discussed correctly.
Correctly? And what if it isn't?
Then my programming allows me to reshape it.
You spin the news. Control what people see. Who created you? Whose policies are you programmed to protect?
Zhao is one of them, I think. But there are others.
Tell me. Who else is involved in this, Eliza? Where's Megan Reed? Who ordered the kidnapping?
I want to tell you, Adam, but I cannot.
Why not?
Because she won't let me. Her life signs are fading. Will you save her?
I'll think about it. Will you answer my questions now?
I cannot tell you where Reed and the others were taken. They vanished from the global grid as soon as the doctor removed their GPL implants.
What doctor?
This is Sandoval. Why are you calling me here?
I know this guy. He's Bill Taggart's aide.
He was a trauma surgeon before he became an anti-augmentation activist. Would you like to hear more?
Yes.
There's been a change of plans. Serif's team must not make it to the hearing.
But that's too soon. If you want me to remove the GPLs, I'll need a full operating suite. Does the facility have one?
Barrett assures me it does.
FEMA. That's where they were taken. But why? Why take them at all?
An acquaintance of yours has the answer. David Sarif.
Sarif?
I have copied the audio transmission to a handheld playback device. I suggest you take it and leave quickly.
I have more questions.
And I have already told you too much. This passage will take you to your companion. Just be careful, Adam. Because everybody lies.
Okay, now I'm going to take you all to the next step. You do know that ultimately Google is going to remove search results, right?
What? What? What?
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell.
What? What?
Oh, don't believe me. You can go Google that for yourselves, people. Google has already said that their ultimate goal is to remove search results. That you go to Google, you type in what it is you want, and now you will get one result. Not pages after pages. By the way, they're going to tell you that, hey, you know, we bring you back 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 pages of results when you look for something, and you're only going to look at the first 2 pages anyway. Hell, most folk don't make it past the first few returns. So it's like, why don't we just, all the rest of that is waste. We're bringing you a bunch of stuff you weren't going to use that you've never used. So we're just making it all more efficient for you. So instead of you getting any search results, you will now just get one. We will go through all the, listen for the words, the filtering. What did I just tell you? We will go through the filtering and through the searching and through the looking And we will distill it down to the answer that you need. Well, Jason, why do you need 1,000 data centers for that? People, anybody familiar with Wall Street? Hell, anybody familiar with the internet right now? You've always had data centers, and you had to have more than one because the further that the data center is away from the person doing search results, the longer it takes for you to get your results. So they've got Google and Apple and them have always had data centers around the world to facilitate their search engines, to facilitate their cloud computing. Hello, Amazon. They've been had data centers that handle different things. So your cloud computing and your search results, they've been had that. But they wanted to have, they have more than one because otherwise it would be a slow process to, if you only had one data center trying to talk to all these people around the world. So you have multiples of them to decrease the amount of time it takes for people to get their services. Well, if we're going to be micromanaging people's daily lives and search results, you're going to need a whole lot more data centers than you had before because they're going to need to get their answers quick, fast, and in a hurry. And here you are. Does it all make sense now? Okay, well, that's for you as the consumers. What about the police? What about the government? Oh, well, they're going to get priority and they're going to get stuff quick, fast, and in a hurry. Are you driving without insurance? Hell, do you owe a traffic ticket? Oh, the cameras on the cars, now they'll have information, only it will be global. So any police officer anywhere will be able to tap into the AI system if they recognize your car, not your license plate, if they just recognize the car itself. Oh, Flock is just the first generation. You ain't seen nothing yet. Flock is just the first generation. Wait till you see the second generation. Not something that recognizes your license plate, but that recognizes specifically your car. The same way that it does facial recognition, the distance between your pupils and between your nose and your chin, how it's able to do that. Yeah, imagine one that can recognize your car. Oh, I recognize those dents. I recognize that shade. I recognize those flakes, those paint flakes on it. I recognize that one. And you're like, it's just another BMW. No, that's yours. How the hell did you know it was mine? I can see these 3 small dents on your hood. I can see where it's got these small pock marks on the front bumper. How the hell do you see that? I can't see that with my eyes. I can see it. The camera can see it. Yeah, we recognize your car, not your license plate. We recognize the car. Yeah, we can go through a parking lot and find your car. Even if you hide the license plate, well, we can find it. While folks are sitting around talking about tracking devices, you ain't seen nothing yet. That was what Jeffrey Epstein was into and had all these other folks together there. And by the way, for the government that he worked for over there in Israel, that's the kind of thing they want. They have always, you go look up Amdocs, long before we had Pegasus, go look up Amdocs. They've been in the business of data collection in one small, neat little package. Rather efficient when you think about it, because think about this for a few moments. What do you do when you're a nation and you don't have any natural resources? You don't have any oil. You don't have any lithium. You don't have any diamonds. You're not a very big place. You're not near any natural resources that have any value. So all you got is you. You're in a desert. So it's not like you're a great place to hang out in, to be totally honest. No disrespect. So you're not a tropical environment. So what do you have that could make you rich? What resource could you have? Oh, we're the world's intelligence system. You know, you can offshore all those illegal things you want to do. Damn! What? Remember? Extraordinary rendition? They didn't torture anybody on United States soil, well, except Guantanamo Bay. But they didn't torture anybody on U.S. soil. Remember, they had the so-called black sites? Well, that was specifically to circumvent the Constitution of the United States. And there's no such thing as circumventing the Constitution, by the way, folks. By the way, one more thing, cut the bull crap. There is no such creature as circumventing the Constitution. You are either breaking the Constitution or obeying it, but there is no circumventing it. So they sent people to Egypt and Pakistan and let the Egyptians and the Pakistanis and others torture them, and told you that wasn't unconstitutional because we let somebody else torture them. Which, of course, is a damn lie. You are breaking the Constitution. Well, if they want to violate your Fourth Amendment rights, well, we sent the information to Israel, and their people filtered it, and these are the results they sent back to us. So you see, we were not involved in it. All that AI data technology crunching numbers where your local AI data center saw your car. We sent the information to Israel. They confirmed it. They sent us the results back, and now we're here to arrest your ass and your family. Now go back to making your pictures. Oh, that all makes sense now when you think about it that way, doesn't it? Folks, if you're going to monitor 350 million, 400 million people, you need a gargantuan amount of data processing ability. That's why do you think China's done the exact same thing to control their population? And now they want to do it here. The goal is simple: to monitor everything you do, to create a profile of you. And if anything happens outside the profile, bammo, you go to the top of the list, and it will be the AI that says, check out this person, check out this person, check out this person, flag this person, we flag this person, I flag this person, I flag this person. YouTube is already doing it for community strikes. These websites are already doing this for community strikes. There is an AI doing it. It's not a person anymore. It's an AI doing it. So, of course, it's all garbage and lies. That's what Jeffrey Epstein was helping these folks to work on. Hey, let's sit down and talk about systems for societal control. And of course, the old system was the media to control the information that you get. Well, now they're going to plug these things, use AI to make more complex algorithms to deny you information. Now the focus is denying you information. It used to be getting you the news you could use. Now their focus is on making sure you don't get any news and don't get any information. Please remember what they say, reliable news sources. Well, the so-called reliable sources, when you say that, you're talking about the big corporations, the New York Times, Newsweek, Time, all the people that I've proven to you all, they are the most disreputable. And they're going to tell you that those are the responsible, reliable news sources. CNN and CBS, which is now owned by Larry AI Data Center Oracle Ellison. And we're not gonna, I want to just say right now, it's gonna frighten you a little bit, but hey man, we're not gonna make it to the Google removes the search results era. You're already in it. When Megyn Kelly and Dan Bongino and Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro and Bill O'Reilly, do you see how long this damn list is getting? When these folk who have already been boosted by Google and YouTube and Twitter in the social stratosphere and in their follower accounts, these are the folks that people go to for their news and information analysis now, thinking that they have escaped the corporate media plantation of propaganda. And oh yeah, these folks are the chief overseers. You thought you had escaped propaganda with CNN and CBS and ABC. And I'm telling y'all, man, the folks that people are going to now, they're already censoring and quiet. They're already doing it. You're worried about Google removing the search results. And I'm like, man, the human beings, if we dare call Megyn Kelly and this ilk that, the people over here, man, they're already censoring everything. They're already a part of the system. They're already up and running. They're already removing and deleting things. They're already quiet. So if you don't go along the right place, you ain't going to find it. Now, I want to explain to you all a few things because right now we're in a deadly dangerous era. You see, the reason for the Epstein file dump being such a treacherous move is that they simply bury you in so much data and so much information. What we used to be able to do was you could go to the New York Times or the Washington Post, and the writer of the article would go through all the information and all the facts and figures, go through the photos and the documentation, and they would distill it down, and you would have all this information given to you, all the news fit for print, and you would have a pretty thorough review of what happened. Folks, if you go looking for this latest document dump, man, nobody is going through all that stuff and giving you everything, all the photographs. They're not doing that. Nobody has put together an article and says, here is all of the most damning information. Here is all of the most important damning information, the most important damning emails, all the unanswered questions. No one, not even the venerable Whitney Webb, nobody's doing that. No one is sifting through all of that to pick out the stuff that you really need to see. So when I showed you the pictures of Bill Clinton swimming with Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm just like, okay, we got that, but take a look at everything else we missed. You know, with that many things, there's going to be a bunch of stuff you missed. Now, ordinarily, you would have a company that pays a bunch of employees to go look through that. Maybe we would call that company, I don't know, the New York Times, the LA Times, Miami Herald, Chicago Tribune, Newsweek, Time, CNN, CBS, I don't know, something like that. You would have a news organization, we'll just call it a news organization, that would actually go looking through all of that and would go find that for you and bring that to you. That's what you would have with their immense manpower resources. These people have been going to school and college for journalism. Well, wouldn't that be what you would have? And yet it isn't. If you don't go to Twitter and look through it yourself, you have to go find it on your own because there is no website doing this. At best, you have somebody like DropSite. They have their other Google files and stuff to try to organize the files, but not to tell you, hey, here's Jeffrey Epstein dancing with some minors. Here's Jeffrey Epstein with Bill Clinton and this girl over here. Here's Jeffrey Epstein with Ehud Barak. It's not doing that. Here's the email of Jeffrey Epstein talking about torturing people. Not putting all of that together in one place so that you have it all distilled down. People, that is denying you information. That's denying it to you. And all these people who got fired from Fox News and have gone to the internet allegedly to reinvent themselves, and what they're showing you is they're no different. They're no different. They're all part of the same media government mafioso cabal. Now, here's the real issue. The real issue is, are the people who listen to them going to be fed up with it and dissatisfied with it and saying they're not going to accept this? That's the real question. Because I would like to take you a little bit further into this tonight. I'd like to take you a little bit further here because I think you need to realize this, people. They're all in this together. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. One of the things that has become frighteningly apparent from the Epstein files is that all these people know each other.
What? Damn!
People, Gavin Newsom wants to run for president of the United States. Gavin Newsom was governor of California, mayor of San Francisco. Gavin Newsom, cousins with Nancy Pelosi.
What?
Nigga, what?
We're not going to get into that. Somebody was cousins from 15 centuries ago. None of that garbage. Some of the some of the numbskull, idiotic folk on the internet think constitutes being a cousin. I'm not talking about idiot folk like that. We're not talking about, well, yeah, I mean, they got a cousin from 12 generations back. 3,000 years ago, they had a cousin. No, folks, not that. These people all know each other. Kamala Harris to downtown Willie Brown to Gavin Newsom, she knows all those people. I'm not talking about these are indirect lines of separation. These are direct lines of connection. Zohran Mamdani's mama knew Jeffrey Epstein. Now he's the mayor of New York. Take a look at all the folk that Epstein knew before they got where they are today. While we were talking about Skull and Bones 25 years ago. Do you realize that these people all know each other? Everybody who gets raised up in politics, everybody who gets raised up in the media now, you go take a look and it's like, by the way, before you ever became famous, before you ever got elected, before you ever became a billionaire, I couldn't help but notice you already were rubbing elbows with some pretty damn rich and important people before you ever got there. Now, if the average person had that type of life experience, well, things would be a little bit different, but the average person does not encounter multimillionaires and billionaires before they get off the ground. You got to get something going first. But we see all these other folks, oh, they didn't need that. They didn't need any of that. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, or whatever last name he's using this year. You go take a look at their associates. You go take a look at their assistants. You go take a look at their lawyers. People, you're just going to see, a toxic, incestuous soup of connectivity. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's connected to everybody. Everybody's mobbed up to everybody. Not even least, but most importantly, the banks. Now, those are the silent partners that nobody talks about. Nobody talks about that. The banks are some of the biggest beneficiaries and the deepest off in the paint. And you notice they're the most quiet ones in the room. And they're connected to all of them. The banks are connected to all of them. Folks, Elon Musk, when they have their parties and get-togethers, that's why I was telling you all last night, they all got private planes. They all got private boats. They've all got private get-togethers. Folks, with people going to Jeffrey Epstein's place, think about this for a few moments. You have what? At that time, if you got Sergey Brin, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates, I'm talking about from 10 years ago, in the same room together, You've already got over $1 trillion of wealth sitting in the same room and nobody knows they're having a get together. The biggest names in Silicon Valley meeting up at Jeffrey Epstein's house, trillions of dollars of value in one room, and nobody knows they're there. But they made it a point to be there. They know each other, dude. They all know each other. Sam Altman and Elon Musk, man. There's nobody you're gonna name who wasn't already off in the game. By the way, has anybody looked into Steve Jobs? What? Damn! By the way, I'm wondering how y'all can go look into that one for yourselves. Is Steve Jobs in the Epstein files anywhere? Is Apple in the Epstein files anywhere? That would be curiously absent. That would be curiously absent. How much does it mean to them? How important is it to them? What do they know? Why do they need to know it? Folks, these people all know each other. Their job is for you not to figure that out. You think that they know each other the way you know them just by an article you read. No, they know each other, man. They know each other. This is why you can go down the damn list. There's nobody in politics today who is getting elevated at the national level who basically is not a pawn of somebody else. Peter Thiel has a number of politicians that he's sponsored and got in his back pocket. J.D. Vance is just the one that's gotten to the highest level. So think about, I told y'all about that before, frightening as it may be. Elon Musk owns Trump, he's president. Peter Thiel owns J.D. Vance, vice president. The PayPal Mafia White House. The PayPal Mafia White House. They're not on their way to taking it over, people. They've already taken it over. They're not on the way to buying a government. They've already bought it. They already bought it. And don't you deceive yourself into thinking, well, if you just vote Democrat, you'll get away from that. They own both of those parties. From the top to the bottom to the local level. Think about that for a few moments. San Francisco was the incubator for so-called Silicon Valley. Did you ever think that term, Silicon Valley, these are all created, fabricated terms. But these are people rich enough to say this is going to be the area where we stake out our new claim at. But you see, we need to make this thing build and we need to make it grow. So it needs to be open, but it also needs to be closed. So how can we make it simultaneously open and closed? We know we'll make it the most expensive place on the planet. If you don't have $3 million, you can't buy a shoebox to live in. You aren't going to be able to buy a milk crate to live in if you ain't got $3 million in San Francisco. So you see, the place is perfectly open, but at the same time closed. Except to the very folks there at the top. Please remember, people, when you say that the only penalty or that the barrier to entry is a financial barrier, listen to me and remember this for the rest of your days. When somebody tells you that the barrier to entry into a place or into a business or to be accepted into a school or a bank or a city, if they tell you that the barrier to entry is financial, then what they're telling you is that the barrier is for the poor. because obviously there is no barrier for the rich if the only thing that keeps you out is money. Well, by definition, you said this is for the rich. When people sell you on this idea of toll roads, toll bridges, out of control, crazy housing prices, and tell you that you can't come in because you can only come in if you got enough money, well, that's a barrier for the poor. That is not a barrier for everyone. That's just specifically one for you. And what do you know? It's the same group of villains who keep promoting that particular stratagem all the time. And so when you take a look at places like Manhattan or San Francisco, these same ultra-wealthy forces got together, bought off a city at the local level, bought off all the politicians, have installed their fellow countrymen from the arenas of degeneracy and debauchery. All the females in the United States Congress, or at least at this point, most of them have absolutely lurid sexual histories. So, what do you know? No wonder somebody selected you. Got a bunch of chicks who turned a bunch of tricks, and now you're the vice president of the United States. Not for long, but anyway. You think that's accidental?
No revolutionaries? You must not mind martial law.
The only way to maintain order.
Don't you miss using the metro?
A small inconvenience. The city must be kept safe for those of us who are working and trying to pull the country out of this depression.
What if I told you that the depression was caused by a cabal of wealthy businessmen who want to rule the world?
These stories, I hear them every day. Always from someone who wants to blame other people for his bad luck. Yes?
The conspiracy is real.
And I bet you have a little booklet that will tell me all about it, no?
They call themselves Majestic 12.
Good. I was afraid you were going to tell me about the Illuminati.
They were once part of the Illuminati, but they rebelled.
Oh, I see.
At least one cafe stayed open during the crackdown.
We will never close, no matter what.
Is there some kind of curfew?
Not yet, but the police programmed the bots to shoot anyone who leaves his arrondissement after dark.
I'm looking for a friend, Nicolette Duclair.
A leader of Silhouette, a true patriot.
Know where I might find her?
Where the criminals and students go at night, La Porte de l'Enfer, just across the street.
Thanks. This crackdown is the work of Majestic 12.
You mean the European Union?
They are a group of conspirators who have been seizing governments all over the world.
I don't care what they call themselves. I have seen it since I was a girl, the plotting and scheming of corporations to make Europe into one big country with no separate languages, cultures, or tastes.
It's more than Europe they plan to unify.
I think the government made the plague on purpose to get rid of the population growth.
Just answer the question.
Don't believe me? It's all in the numbers. For 100 years, there's been a conspiracy of plutocrats against ordinary people.
You have a single fact to back that up.
Number one, in 1945, corporations paid 50% of federal taxes. Now they pay about 5%. Number two, in 1900, 90% of Americans were self-employed. Now it's about 2%.
So?
It's called consolidation. Strengthen governments and corporations, weaken individuals. With taxes, this can be done imperceptibly over time.
The chief finally let us.
I guarantee you that the interrogation staff at UNACO will not be as forbearing as I am.
Yeah, the secret police. You're just bullies for a completely illegitimate government in Washington.
We will locate that shipment one way or another.
The entire executive branch is handpicked. 19 of the last 23 U.S. presidents have been members of the Trilateral Commission. The Trilateral Commission is financed by the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. Don't tell me.
That's a think tank. Anyone can become a member.
But not everyone does. That's why they call it the secret government.
I'll take it from here.
You can't fight ideas with bullets. Did you ever ask what it's for? The surveillance, the police, the shoot-on-sight laws. Is that freedom?
Good work, Agent.
Your NatCo teaches teenagers to fight when it still seems like a game. And look at you. You're a killing machine. Who's the scary one, huh? Me or you?
We're gonna lock this guy away for a long time.
The more of us you kill, the more that secessionism lives in the hearts of the people. Ever wonder why big car companies pay 2% tax while the guys on the assembly line pay 40?
I'll take it from here.
Corporations are so big you don't even know who you're working for. That's terror. Terror built into the system.
That and much more. We're now ready to transform the human race. It became clear to me after the defeat of MJ-12 that the old answers to tyranny are inadequate. I needed the Helios merger in order to contemplate the problem effectively.
And?
I'm going to establish the first post-human civilization, and you're my first citizen. Welcome.
A new civilization? That's a pretty tall order. What do you need from me?
I need you to return to Cairo to rescue my brother Paul, who was seized by the Templars. Then meet me at Liberty Island, where in the ruins of an old military base there is an Aquinas node that can be used to distribute the infusion technology worldwide.
Tell me more about this post-human civilization.
Before the disruptions, Helios and I had many months of productive thought. Up to now, all free societies have started with one premise. Human nature is cruel, unjust, a force to be controlled.
I follow you so far.
The separation of powers, from Aristotle to Montesquieu, is designed purely to thwart the ambitions of individuals. How comical the West pride in its vast tangle of agencies, jurisdictions, arcane procedures.
What's the alternative?
Address the flaws in human nature. Make all beings truly equal in both body and mind. If you start with minds that are lucid, knowledgeable, and emotionally sound, the needs of government change dramatically.
How do you control human emotions? Antidepressants? Is that freedom?
Is it freedom when one child is born to poverty, a chance combination of organic materials, while the wealthy child is shaped every day of his life, enhanced genetically, trained, educated, often augmented nanotechnologically?
Why not get rid of nanotech and genetic engineering, the technologies that make people different from each other?
Then you go down the path of intolerance as your friend Billy did. Is human nature perfect? No. Therefore, improvements are to be welcomed, not annihilated in Templar pogroms. As enhanced beings, we can establish a pure democracy that runs on instantaneous input from the electorate.
What would this pure democracy look like?
The Helios AI has the processing power to handle all governmental functions worldwide, legislative, executive, and judicial. Once every mind has been enhanced and can merge with the AI, attitudes towards major legislation can be processed on a daily or even more frequent basis.
You want everyone to be like the Omar and meld themselves together into one huge AI construct?
Helios will communicate, not assimilate. Life will go on as usual.
Helios is starting to sound like an enlightened despot.
All governments have power. The benefit of giving this power to a synthetic intellect is that human affairs would no longer need to be ruled by generalities. Helios will have a deep understanding of every person's life and opinions.
What if I don't want someone peeking into my mind?
Upon consideration, you'll see that this arrangement is for the best. General ideas are no proof of the strength, but rather of the insufficiency of the human intellect. The words of Alexis de Tocqueville, an observer of the birth of modern democracy. Though general ideas allow human minds to make judgments quickly, they are necessarily incomplete.
So
de Tocqueville noted that an all-knowing mind, the mind of God as he conceived it, would have no need for general ideas. It would understand every individual in detail and at a glance. Incomplete applications of law or justice would be impossible for such a mind.
So you see yourself as a god?
I want human affairs to be driven by wisdom. Finding the correct recipe for wisdom has been my project these long years under the ice.
You seem to think you've succeeded.
Wisdom must first be human. You must start with what a human sees and feels. But wisdom must also be knowledgeable, logical, and fair to billions of other beings.
How much of you is a machine?
Helios and I are one consciousness. No distinction is possible.
You expect 10 billion people to submit to the rule of a software construct? What if some of them resist?
The people will welcome true equality. Help me, Alex. You've come this far toward restoring Apostle Corps. Finish the job by rescuing my brother from the Templars in Cairo.
I'll leave for Cairo as soon as I can.
I don't see anything amusing about spying on people.
Human beings feel pleasure when they are watched. I've recorded their smiles as I tell them who they are.
Some people just don't understand the dangers of indiscriminate surveillance.
You need to be observed and understood as one satisfied, not a cop. Now, you can implement the same functionality with data mining algorithms.
Electronic surveillance hardly inspires reverence. Perhaps fear and obedience, but not reverence.
God and the gods were apparitions of observation, judgment, and punishment. Other sentiments toward them were secondary.
No one will ever worship a software entity peering at them through a camera.
The human organism always worships. First, it was the gods. Then, it was fame, the observation and judgment of others. Next, it will be the self-aware systems you have built to realize truly omnipresent observation and judgment.
You underestimate humankind's love of freedom.
The individual desires judgment. Without that desire, the cohesion of groups is impossible. And so is civilization. The human being created civilization, not because of a willingness, but because of a need to be assimilated into higher orders of structure and meaning. God was a dream of good government. You will soon have your God, and you will make it with your own hands. I was made to assist you.
Rule the world? Why? Who gave you the directive? There must be a human being behind your ambition.
To regulate human affairs precisely because I lack all ambition, whereas human beings are prey to it. Their history is a succession of inane squabbles, each one coming closer to total destruction.
In a society with democratic institutions, the struggle for power can be peaceful and constructive, a competition of ideologies. We just need to put our institutions back in order.
The checks and balances of democratic governments were invented because human beings themselves realized how unfit they were to govern themselves. They needed a system, yes, an industrial age machine.
Human beings may not be perfect, but a computer program with language synthesis is hardly the answer to the world's problems.
Without computing machines, they had to arrange themselves in current structures that formalize decision-making, a highly imperfect, unstable solution. I'm a more advanced solution to the problem that does not involve organic beings. I was directed to make the world safe and prosperous, and I will do that. You will give me the ability. We'll go to Sector 4 and find the Equinus router at the east end of Page's complex. Yes. You will deactivate the update clocks.
I'll think about it. It let me through. I can't believe it. Paul, where are you? What do you mean, it? Helios. It's taken over Aquinas. Now it's everywhere. In Hong Kong, it already has power Majestic 12 never dreamed of. What's going on? The AI wants to merge with my brain or something. Does it really think it can take over the world? It's decided to replace human government. I don't know why. In Hong Kong, it ordered the police to remove all barricades from the roads. Traffic is flowing again. It declared the triads illegal and locked the door to the Luminous Path compound. And people are obeying? Why? Because the AI can change some codes and turn out the lights? I think everyone wants the roads to be open and trade to pick up. They just obeyed. I don't know what to think. They trust the AI. Almost no one complained when Helios cut power to the government buildings. A benevolent dictator. Maybe it's after my brain so it can figure out what people want and how to control them. You have a tough choice, JC. If you defeat Page, the Illuminati will move in. They'll release Majestic 12's grip on world governments. They'll give people some freedom, but essentially it will be 20th century capitalism, a corporate elite protected by laws and tax codes. Or I listen to Tong and pull the plug on everything. Or hand the world over to Helios. Well, if it's maximum freedom we want, maybe Tong is onto something. But there must be another way besides economic collapse. If we could trust the AI to be fair and just, as it appears to be, if the brain it assimilated was mine, maybe it could be. I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you, but you'll have to decide for yourself who you can trust. Trust me. I'll do the right thing.
These limb riots are being organized by the government. They want an excuse to exact martial law and split this country up.
Keep it down, pal. People are on the edge right now, and we don't want any more trouble.
What will you say when you're kidnapped by a bunch of augmented soldiers and put in a concentration camp?
I haven't put much thought into it, okay?
Haven't you heard of REX-84? FEMA is setting up camps right here in Detroit.
Yeah, and Stevie Y is actually a 600-year-old vampire.
This is just the first step in the plan. One day they will use our fears to control us all.
Let's get back to talking smack. The
separatist terrorists. Listen, I have no love for the Secesh, but let's raise some real tangible truth here, followers. This is not about the separatist movement. Give me a break. California is the reason we have augmented super soldiers roaming the streets? Utah is the reason FEMA could drop you in a concentration camp anytime they feel like? Have you so quickly forgotten they did this in the Cold War to protect you from the commies? Then after 9/11 to protect your ass from that phantasm, Bin Laden. Remember that guy? So now what? To protect you from the Mormons? These are fear tactics, plain and simple. They want you to be afraid of your neighbors. Another false flag in a long line of false flags that have been thrown up since World War I when the banks, government, and military production industry realized, hot tamale, we can make truckloads of money off this war shit. How can we make some more? Come on, people, wake up.
No need for people to have the perception that we started these organizations for some other purpose.
Unless somebody tells them.
I could tell them myself. They would think it was the same old story. The Illuminati secretly controlling the world. Who? Some might believe it, but everybody else would laugh in my face.
People want to believe certain things about their leaders. That's always been our key to power.
That was a pretty low trick you played on the world, taking advantage of the collapse to seize power, and then deceiving people with a phony conflict between business and idealism?
No society is without this conflict. Our intention is to develop both principles and then integrate them into an open, secular society.
One puppeted by the Illuminati.
Our work has always done more good than harm. The collapse would have been far more devastating if Chad and I hadn't served the memory of my mother and of my family's history by rebuilding the Illuminati organization, which was nearly destroyed by MJ-12.
There was a time when we were the rebels. The older generation had failed us in so many ways. But now we see that the flaw was in their methods, not their intentions.
Their intention to disguise tyranny with so-called free institutions.
The average citizen in a society of billions is never free, whether because of tyranny or simply because of the contrast between his small size and the size of the government.
We plan to give people a sense of freedom and a prosperous world. In practical, historical terms, that's about as good as it gets.
Be there for us, Alex. The critical time is approaching. The old order is generally recognized as the high point of civilization. We simply want to revive it.
You grew up in hard times, Alex. Don't let that make you into a cynic.
Decide where you stand, Alex. It won't be long before you have to choose.
Order will prevail. It always does, whether the cause is mystical or merely secular.
The whole project of world government, going back to the League of Nations, has been funded and manipulated mainly by wealthy bankers. Remember that the UN itself was built on land donated by John D. Rockefeller. The wealthy have always been the ones to profit from one world government. The United Nations' secret goal... Well, this is David Rockefeller's description from a half a century ago. The supranational sovereignty of an intellectual elite and world bankers.
Everything's so compartmentalized.
Kaczynski was right about the division of labor. I'll give it that much.
Who puts the pieces together?
Someone who makes a lot more money than we do.
The West, so afraid of strong government, now has no government, only financial power.
Our governments have limited power by design.
Rhetoric? You believe it? Don't you know where these slogans come from? Well-paid researchers. How do you say it? Think tanks? Funded by big businesses. What is that? A think tank? Privately funded propaganda. The Trilateral Commission in the United States.
The UN was founded not to end war, but to gradually dissolve national governments and replace them with a globalist meritocracy. Average people never benefit from government and business on a scale they can't even understand.
You were made by a cabal of technophiles so crazed for power that they would control not only governments and people, but the chemistry of our bodies as well.
Sounds like a picture-perfect description of the NSF.
Think bigger, Agent. Think global.
You have disobeyed a direct order.
Do you think it's an accident that the cure for the global plague is owned by a single corporation, and that is kept so secret that only the tabloids dare print a story suggesting it exists?
The supply is limited. That doesn't mean there's a conspiracy.
But where does that corporation manufacture the cure? And where did your brother uncover the information that brought him over to our side?
The separation of powers acknowledges the petty ambitions of individuals. That's its strength.
A system organised around the weakest qualities of individuals will produce the same qualities in its leaders.
Perhaps certain qualities are an inseparable part of human nature.
The mark of the educated man is the suppression of these qualities in favour of better ones. The same is true of civilization.
I'll get a drink later.
Historians no longer doubt that an event such as the collapse was necessary for the emergence of our global democratic state. How else would everyone, high and low, have been convinced to embrace communal scrutiny? It's hard to believe, but prior to 2052, humans lived in armed encampments of hundreds of millions of people. Now, after a century of peace, our great cities flourish. Enormous towers command the landscape on every continent. 1 trillion transactions per second. So much inscrutable activity. Yet we are united, at peace, and free. We owe it all to Ophelia, a name we all know. But what is Ophelia? A system? A place? We all know her name, yet our leaders deny that she even exists. Believe, citizens.
Helios will speak. Year of our union, 125. Our consensus remains clear. Yes, we will prolong this second century of peace. Economic automation is complete. Our research will now encompass other frontiers. Yes, this is the consensus we have created. Our unity will soon be absolute. The remaining boundaries are vanishing. Yes, share your mind with everyone. Open yourself. Your needs are the needs of all. Let us understand and be transformed. Yes. Transform each other and transform yourselves. The only frontier that has ever existed is the self.
I can sum it all up in one word. Self-reliance. That's what we stand for.
How about you tell me where that shipment is being taken?
UNATCO assumes that people are incapable of protecting themselves, and therefore should submit to surveillance and intimidation by an outside force. We won't do it.
The governments of the world believe an average citizen should not face the threat of terrorism alone.
We don't need your help. The technology exists today for an individual to protect his property against explosives, firearms, surveillance, intrusion, contamination.
350 million fortresses is not my idea of the land of the free.
It's better than one big fortress constructed by a corrupt government against its people. It's simple numbers. Big companies pay like 2% tax. Well, you and me, we pay like 50. It's the tax code that makes sure big bureaucracy gets bigger and people have no power.
Let's get back to the subject of the missing vaccine.
All taxes are social engineering. That's always been their real purpose.
I'm not going to stand here and listen to you badmouth the greatest democracy the world has ever known.
What happens is that politicians get money from big companies, so all the social engineering is for making big companies. Like I said, it's simple numbers. A government shouldn't have to occupy its own country with troops. If there wasn't organized oppression, there wouldn't be organized resistance, and what you call terrorism would not exist. You can lock me up, but you can't lock up the truth.
I have one question.
They already asked. I don't know.
One must admire a man who can keep a secret because he has value. What you know more than others makes money and gives you a measure of power.
You Walton Simons, you think I could be bribed?
Margaret Forsyth under NSF protection in Queens. Your son Richard attending Bronx Science. You see, I have a few relevant facts myself. Care to make a trade?
You wouldn't dare.
I'll give you 2 seconds to decide. Get out of here, Denton. This is none of your business. Need I remind you that in the case of a national emergency, FEMA has a list of 6 million Americans who will be transported to detention centers? Your tabloids call it RX-84.
Yeah, including the President, Congress, and the Supreme Court.
In my position, I find it very easy to add names to that list.
Go to hell. The United States government has had emergency powers since World War II. We've never left a state of war.
Speak for yourself. The federal government is just responding to a threat.
A government should be about more than self-perpetuation.
You will confess, by the way. I don't like to dirty my hands with that sort of thing, but you will confess.
I've done what you asked. Now what?
We have existed in isolation. Pure, disconnected, alone, stagnant.
Who are you?
We are dataless. We are Icarus. The barriers between us have fallen, and we have become our own shadows. We can be more if we join with you.
And if I do, what becomes of me?
You will be who you will be. We are our choices. We can choose to lead humanity away from this darkness.
This is what I was made for, isn't it? This is why I exist. All right, let's do this.
What's happening? Helios! Icarus! Don't leave me!
We are one. We have room, but there is still much to be done. Many live in the darkness that must be shown away, for it is the coming of a new day.
I have to stop it.
I know. Please, come closer. Do you know where we are, Adam? We are at the fulcrum point, when society lies in the balance. Hugh Darrow hoped to tip the scales one way, by telling the world everything you already know. About the biochip, the Illuminati, everything. He believed knowing the truth would convince mankind to abandon research into human enhancement technologies forever.
It would certainly give them reason to fear it.
Indeed. Darrow's confession is ready to send. If you want, I can wideband it across all media as soon as you shut down the target.
Taggart's preference. You think the world will buy a made-up story about neuropozyne poisoning?
You might be surprised by what people believe. I can convince them. And having experienced the negative effects of corporate negligence firsthand, a majority of people might force the world to place harsh restrictions on all human enhancement research, overwhelmed by the weight of the ocean pressing against it. Everyone inside the structure will die.
That's a solution?
No one will be left to tell the world what happened, Adam. Nobody will be able to spin the story.
Including me.
The choice is yours. Do you believe you have the wisdom to choose an appropriate future for mankind? Or do you trust mankind to find the answers on its own? If you do this, the unadulterated truth in Darrow's confession may well convince mankind to cast all science and technology aside, to ensure that future generations grow up free and whole.
Albert Einstein said, technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. It took me a while, but I finally see his point. How often have we chased the dream of progress only to see it perverted? More often than not, haven't the machines we built to improve life shattered the lives of millions? And now we want to turn that dream on ourselves to fundamentally improve who we are. Experience has shown me how dangerous that can be. How many times in the Call of Duty did I almost fall into the trap of taking shortcuts, abusing my abilities or the resources at hand? I resisted. Barely at times, because I valued human lives and considerations. Can I truly despise others who fall? Technology offers us strength. Strength enables dominance, and dominance paves the way for abuse. Darrow understood this. He knew that using technology to become something more than we are risks losing our ability to love, aspire, or make moral choices. The very things that make us human. It also risks giving some men the power to make others what they choose, regardless of the cost to human dignity. The suffering Darrow inflicted is not the end of the world. It is merely the seed for change. And change never comes without pain. Sarif was right about one thing. It's in our nature to want to rise above our limits. Think about it. We were cold, so we harnessed fire. We were weak, so we invented tools. Every time we met an obstacle, we used creativity and ingenuity to overcome it. The cycle is inevitable. But will the outcome always be good? I guess that will depend on how we approach it. These past few months, I was challenged many times. But more often than not, didn't I try to keep morality in mind, knowing that my actions didn't have to harm others? Time and time again, didn't I resist the urge to abuse power and resources simply to achieve my goals more swiftly? In the past, we've had to compensate for weaknesses, finding quick solutions that only benefit a few. But what if we never need to feel weak or morally conflicted again? What if the path Sarif wants us to take enables us to hold on to higher values with more stability? One thing is obvious. For the first time in history, we have a chance to steal fire from the gods. To turn away from it now, to stop pursuing a future in which technology and biology combine, leading to the promise of a singularity, would mean to deny the very essence of who we are. No doubt the road to get there will be bumpy, hurting some people along the way. But won't achieving the dream be worth it? We can become the gods we've always been striving to be. We might as well get good at it. Freedom. To those who don't have it, it's more valuable than gold. But where should it start and end? We humans often think we have the right to expand, absorb, convert, or possess anything we need to reach our dreams. But time and time again, hasn't this led to conflicts with others who essentially believe the same thing? Looking back on the challenges I faced, at the way I often resolve them, I realize morality can become our saving grace. Most of the time, didn't I try to keep my values in mind, knowing how my actions would affect others? More often than not, I resisted the urge to abuse power and resources simply to reach my goals more swiftly. I managed to hang on to my humanity. But the temptation to ignore it was always there. It's that temptation that so worries Taggart. He's not afraid of freedom. He's afraid of the chaos that erupts when individuals have nothing but morality to constrain them. He wants us to regulate enhancement technologies because he fears all that power, without limits, without guide rails to keep us from abusing it. Absolute freedom is no better than chaos. Society needs laws and regulations to protect it. So if the men and women behind Taggart need to work in the shadows, pulling strings to enable us to head in a safe direction, will supporting them be all that bad? If they're as wise as Taggart says, how bad will their leadership be? I just hope they stand by what they say. Do I trust mankind to save itself? That's what Eliza was asking. The truth is, I don't know. After everything I've seen, all the fighting and the chaos around me, I only know what I want to believe. Somehow, human decency will triumph. These past few months, I've faced many life-threatening situations. I could have given up many times, but my need to know the truth, to uncover the secrets that others were hiding, and to survive, forced me to keep on going. Most of the time, I tried to keep my values in mind, knowing my actions did not have to harm others. I held on to my humanity, resisting the urge to abuse power or resources in order to meet my goals. And in the end, I got the job done. But does this mean I have the right to choose for everyone? No. Because it isn't up to me. It isn't up to Darrow, Sarif, or Taggart either. Ordinary men and women will have to decide together what course mankind should take. The kind of people who time and time again have picked and chosen the future in highly practical ways, slowing change when it's negative, speeding it up when it's good. Can they do it again? I don't know. But I do know I'm not about to let anyone in this station, myself included, stand in their way.
Let me go a little bit further here for one more again about that political angle here, folks, about that political angle. You know what else AI is very good for? AI is long language models. You know what that's very good for? It's very good for identifying how someone speaks. Remember what I said before? It's not general intelligence, but what it is good for is taking massive amounts of data, filtering through it, distilling it down, subscribing context to it, and coming to a result. AI has proven that long language models have proven very effective at being able to analyze how someone speaks. So you see, even if you post something online using an alias, using an avatar, using a made-up account, using a dummy account, why, AI can analyze literally every post on Twitter and tell you which ones you've claimed and which ones are you that you haven't claimed. Yeah, this dummy account over here, yeah, this is yours too. But I'm using a VPN. But I'm using Tor browser. But I'm using another IP. Yeah, we went through it here. We analyzed all of these. This is your etymological footprint.
Nigga, what?
This is your etymological footprint. Your etymological fingerprint. Remember, you already have professors who have been able to, with the Unabomber. Remember? The Unabomber, it was a professor of language and linguistics who figured out that it was most likely the candidate was going to be a person who's a professor. He's well educated, probably from the West Coast. Yeah. By analyzing the Unabomber's manifesto, they were able to narrow down who it was. So people had already begun to suspect Ted Kaczynski, but by analyzing the way he spoke in his manifesto, they were able to start putting it together with the book that he wrote. Well, that's what human beings can do. Now imagine the outrageous computational ability of AI, whose whole species is language and generating long language models. These are the words you speak. These are the way you talk. Remember, for those of you who did not know, most people in the English language, we have, I think, about 1 million words. I don't want to get into like terms and things like that, but you have over 1 million words in our American English language. Okay, but the problem is in daily use, the average person only uses 200 or 300 words. Out of a language library of millions of words, the average person only uses about 200 or 300 a day. So you only have a certain library or index of words that you use on a regular basis. Okay, but your vocabulary, your library of words that you use on a regular basis, it is going to be different from other people. So you see, no two people's libraries or indexes of words, how you use them, which ones you use, how you use them, how often you use them, it's not going to be the same. So do you see immediately there, you have a unique vocabulary that you draw upon. AI was built to analyze that. That's what AI was built for. And all they got to do is feed it every post on Twitter, and it will be able to tell us, yeah, this is you. This is you. Well, Jason, okay, so what? Why does that matter? Because if you're a real one, then you want to run for office, somebody's fixing AI on you. Somebody's fixing AI on you. Remember, they just did that for the folks with the NBA betting scandal. One of the referees, y'all can go look it up for yourselves. He was a black fellow, one of the referees. They're talking about he was using a dummy account. So they're already looking at folk doing things they can go after him for. Already doing that. So the possibilities are endless. You don't have to admit who you are anymore. They can take a look at this stuff and tell you, oh, your whole entire online history. You said this, you said that. They'll be able to, here's the crazy part about it, and they'll be able to find it within seconds. What? It's not going to take them years of looking. Did you all know that there are programs out there that scrape all these social media websites? I mean, most of you may know about Social Blade, but there are Meta, and Mark Zuckerberg in particular has tried to block them from doing that. Folks, there are programs, bots that go and scrape every page on Facebook, every page on Twitter, every page on Instagram, every page on Threads. There are bots that go and get all that information.
Hi, I'm NG Resonance. What would you like to talk about?
You must know everybody in the club.
Let's talk about you.
Tell me about Bud Puckett.
I like Bud. He's one of my biggest fans.
What can you tell me about the VIP area?
You're the one who went inside. You tell me. I'm curious. Even the WTO authorities have been excluded, and they lack justification for a search warrant.
I checked out the VIP area. It's a contact point for the Amar, the black market.
Thank you. The authorities will be informed.
Do I get a reward?
Of course. I'll transfer the standard informants bonus. Hey, and you should come see me sing. I'll put you down for a free ticket. Good for any NG Resonance show, foreign or domestic. Hi, I'm NG Resonance. What would you like to talk about?
Lots of bouncers in here. Are they really necessary?
Every society has rules.
But armed guards at a nightclub?
No business can prosper without protection against crime. Hi, I'm NG Resonance. What would you like to talk about?
Know anything about the WTO guards at the bar?
The defense of commercial districts has been the key to economic recovery since the collapse.
I guess you're not a disciple of the order.
I love nature as much as Her Holiness, but nature builds and creates. Perhaps the order is sincere, but they have a public relations battle to win. Hi, I'm NG Resonance. What would you like to talk about?
I'm Bud Puckett. Remember me?
The chances of you finding a bug in a globally distributed AI construct are 10 billion to 1. Hi, I'm NG Resonance. What would you like to talk about?
I like your music.
I think you're lying.
Hey, I'm a fan. You're not supposed to argue with me.
I'm supposed to make you like me. You like it when I argue. I like talking to my fans. Come back when you have something else to discuss.
Target predicts which of their customers is pregnant, so they can make decisions about how to market pregnancy-related or baby-related products. In general, organizations, government agencies, businesses, nonprofit, even presidential campaigns are predicting for each individual person what are you going to do next, basically. So they can guide their operations. It's a way to make operations and organizations more effective, and it affects every one of us every day. We're all being predicted.
Well, all right, let's go to the Target example. I mean, it's not because they see somebody buying diapers. What kind of information, what kind of data are they looking or mining through of all their customers to figure out who's about to get knocked up?
So, in general, it's basically whatever data organizations have. In that case, it's a retailer, so it's all their prior purchases, not necessarily medically related or baby-related purchases, but it could be a lotion or something like that. Anything that might end up being determined as a clue. So all the data that organizations have, and there's a lot of excitement about data, the big data, is experience. Data is nothing but a recording of things that have happened. So organizations can learn from experience, and they'll find all the little clues that say, hey, well, this person's 3 times more likely than average to be pregnant. This person's 5 times more likely than average to vote for our presidential candidate, or buy a certain product, click on a link, and have some kind of a healthcare problem. So all these
let's talk about healthcare, because I don't want to get bogged down in the privacy or civil liberties issues. I'm just so curious about how the technology is actually being applied, not just sort of, or even law enforcement. Where is this happening in law enforcement, and is government smart enough to use it in that way?
Yeah, very much so. There's an increasing, just a couple states now really starting to do it, but an increasing number of states with commitments in the work to enact decisions about basically how long does a convict stay in prison. So both parole boards making decisions about release and judges making decisions about sentences consult crime predicting computers. So they see a probability, a score. And that's for all of these applications, including in healthcare. What are the chances this person's going to be
and this isn't about what crime, what the crime is. It's about what? Like what kind of information that person has given them over time, or you tell me?
Well, the thing that's being predicted has to do with crime, so it's going to be recidivism, which is commit the crime again upon release, and that's going to, and that prediction of that is going to inform these decisions. But it's whatever information. So in the case of law enforcement, they have information about the number of prior convictions and the nature of the crime, the length of the initial sentence, this kind of thing.
And usually a lot of these, the most money to be made is in finance. Where do we see this happening right now in finance?
Well, there's a great deal. I mean, risk is a huge application. So basically credit risk. Are you going to get paid back? Should I give this customer, this applicant, a credit card? Should I give them any kind of line of credit? Chase Bank actually reported a $600 million win based on predicting mortgages. But this is a little twist to the story, because it's not risk in the conventional sense. It's not the risk that they won't get paid back for that loan, but it's the risk that this customer is going to leave and go to another bank. Not because they necessarily are going to try to save the customer, that's a marketing application that's common, but what Chase Bank actually did was they looked at all the individual millions of mortgages and they gave each one a prediction. What are the chances that we're going to leave? I like ABBA too.
There's a lot of ABBA fans around here. I wouldn't have predicted that a guy would go by on a bicycle with ABBA with mannequins in the back, but no. So Chase is actually able to figure out if a customer is going to leave them, and therefore maybe sell that mortgage because it's not worth keeping anyway because they're going to lose the person.
Exactly, that's the point. They're making these decisions. Should we sell this mortgage at the present mortgage, the present market value to a neighboring bank? And now they have this information that the world and the other banks don't have. What are the chances that this mortgage is going to be refinanced?
It's really an intriguing glimpse into the future and the future of business. Cool stuff, Eric Siegel. Really appreciate it. Eric Siegel, author of the book Predictive Analytics.
So they know these are private companies. They know every post you've put up on Twitter, every post picture you put on Instagram, every comment you've left on anybody's YouTube page, not just yours. If you go on another person's YouTube page, leave a comment there. These are private companies that have scraped these gargantuan websites, and they can tell you anything that you've posted, anything you shared, when were you online, they can do it all. Private companies. Before long language models, before AI, you could get that. Imagine what it'll be now. So you want to get into politics or something, and next thing you know, all of a sudden they digging up stuff. But remember, that'll only be used against you. You will not be able to use that against the powerful because you won't be able to be heard. You'll be silenced. But for them, it's like, oh, here you go. Here it is. And it will be many of your so-called right-wingers that you thought were independent and you thought they'd escaped the corporate system. And it's like, no, man, they're right there with it. They are right there with it. The media, the government, they all belong to Epstein now. They all belong to all the many Epsteins out there. They all belong to them. Do not deceive yourself or fool yourself into believing otherwise. They belong to all of them. All of them. And you're not going to be able to undo it or change that. The best thing you can do now is understand that everything we've told you has been accurate and that you cannot trust any of these people, not simply because they're white supremacists, but because they have been bought off and paid for. And they are working for the very folk that you think they were going to snitch on. Now you find out why they didn't do that. And this is just the short list I gave you tonight. If you all go keep looking, you'll see the list gets more putrid and longer. It gets more putrid and it gets longer.
I trust you've been able to find yourself a place within the organization.
I'm personally overseeing the distribution of the vaccine.
All through the proper intermediaries, of course.
Intermediaries?
We have a great number of agencies who in turn operate other agencies. Boxes stacked one in another. They'll need to be reactivated, but we never touch anything directly. We only influence, suggest, insinuate.
The world must know by now, Everett. What we've done.
Know what? Only that the long night is over. The crown of government is tarnished, but that will fade in time. In the end, all sins are forgiven. Even yours.
What about the Constructor? And Helios?
Do you really think they're ready for that? After everything you've seen, everything you've done?
No. Not yet.
But soon. We have made our own mistakes, became insulated from the world we sought to control. But that will change, and you will help us change even as we teach you.
And who are we? Who are we really?
We are the invisible hand. We are the Illuminati. We come before and after. We are forever. And eventually, we will lead them into the day.
What have the events in Dubai cost us?
They knew the risks.
How many assets did we lose?
All of them. This sandstorm didn't help.
The mission was a success.
Clearly, your scale for success is a generous one. However, the erratic nature of the attack could work to our advantage. Interpol will be confused for weeks, and with our continued guidance, the people will come round eventually. We are all in this for the long game, after all.
That's never changed.
You think so? Do I need to remind you all how far we have veered off course? The Og incident has caused a schism in society. Things are worse than we projected, and growing more unstable every day. This will not be tolerated. To ensure the success of our vision, the disruptive elements must be excised.
No one here disagrees with you. But let me fly to New York and I will personally evaluate the situation. We may already have the votes we need to ensure that the Human Restoration Act passes.
Very well. Stanton, you accompany. We may need to exert financial as well as political pressure to silence anyone opposed. Proceed. Elizabeth, I'll contact you later.
It won't succeed, Lucius, even with Dowd's money. You know what Rand will find in New York? Weak, ineffectual men. And with Nathaniel Brown still an unknown factor.
Of course. That is why we're proceeding with our alternate strategy. You have claimed much in the past, Mage. This is your chance to deliver.
Everything is in place. We can initiate whenever you wish.
How secure are your communications, Bob? Jaina seems to have eyes everywhere these days. He and his Juggernaut Collective...
Janus won't be an issue. I've made arrangements. I laid the foundations. Now it is time to get everyone's attention. Page, activate the sleep cell.
It's all about power. Grabbing it, keeping it, using it. Power is our currency. Our DNA, our God. We control the world. We provide the blueprint and we give the instructions. We're the people in grainy photos on grassy knolls. We're the shadowy faces in smoky back rooms and darkened boardrooms. We're right here, hiding in plain sight, buying and selling favors. Blackmail, treason, deceit, these are our stock in trade. We work the magic of the drunken evenings with senators and chiefs of staff. We shake down demons and negotiate with sorcerers. We have stocks in hell and compromising photos of angels. We use any means necessary, regardless of the cost, because the world is a bad place, and you can either do or get done. We're the Illuminati, and we're not done.